It's the Elsa Kurt Show with Clay Novak. Serving up trending news and conservative views. Brought to you by the Elsa Kurt Collection. And Refuge Medical. And now, it's time for the show.
Hey friends, hey Clay, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm back from the Sunshine State, lovely Florida. Got to jump out of the plane again. So you know me, life's good. I'm a happy camper.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're like kind of tapping out. You know, we're just crossing paths here. You just got back. I leave tomorrow to go see my grandbabies. So yes, we both get a little Florida sunshine. Sorry for anybody who's not having a lovely spring right now. I'm not. I'm on the East Coast here. Our spring is, you know, it's a New England spring. It is what it is.
Yeah, Midwest is holding weird 60s, but I think by Friday 80. So
nice.
maybe Mother Nature's coming around.
Come on now. She's got to do it for us. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about, yeah?
Yes. So much. We're going to do it. We're going to get through it all, right?
Okay. All right. Well, we'll roll through it. I think this will be a great show for the audience. Lots to talk about. Yep. And we'll get started right after this. One way stay.
Hey folks, Clay Novak here, author of the novel Keep Moving, Keep Shooting. So what I've got here is the Boo Boo 2.0 basic first aid kit. This is the one that you throw in your glove box, throw in the trunk of your car, keep in the house. It's got Band-Aids, antiseptic wipes, those kinds of things for scrapes and cuts, and some, more significant. There is a tourniquet in here. But Boo Boo 2.0, this is the kit that you need all the time. Again, refugemedical.com. You can find it there. Use the discount code KMKS at checkout. Get yourself 10% off. Refuge Medical, not only buy their equipment, but get their training. Refuge Medical offers training as well.
Ready to refresh your vibe? The Elsa Kurt collection has everything from page-turning reads to eye-catching fashion, guaranteed to add a little sunshine to your season. But that's not all. Love a good book? Elsa's got your next favorite read waiting just for you. Don't miss Elsa's Amazon affiliate store, filled with hand-picked beauty treasures, home must-haves, and daily essentials. It's like a personal shopping spree made easy. Make this spring your season. Shop the Elsa Kurt collection today and let the fun begin.
Well, then, I just got caught looking at my phone here. Can you see? No. So I just tattletaled on myself. I'm looking because one of those breaking news things came up, and anytime that happens, I'm like Pavlov's dog. I see breaking news. I'm like, I have to look at it. They need to stop because it's not always breaking news, but they do it because they know people like me are going to be like, what? I will. And nothing too dramatic.
Okay.
Yeah. Nah.
But that's a good prompt. Tuesday.
Yeah.
4:30 on the East Coast.
Yes.
Tuesday is when we're recording this week. Again, Elsa's traveling tomorrow, so we're recording a little bit early, but it's Tuesday.
And we are well aware so much could happen between this moment and Thursday evening when you guys watch the show. So please don't come yelling at us in the comments. Come on now. Be kind. Be kind. We've got stuff to do, but we want to also hang out with you guys and share what's gone on during the past week. So that's right. I mean, that's kind of what it is. We're kind of doing the review. So you don't have to watch all of the news and read all of the things. We're just wrapping it all up in a Clay and Elsa bow for you.
60. He's knocking it out.
That's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. Well, we could start right off the bat with this one. This one, boy, oh boy, this one makes my blood boil. I mean, what doesn't make my blood boil when it comes to reading and watching mainstream media, the alphabet stew of media organizations that just take a big fat lie and run with it. And this is kind of woven in throughout probably almost every topic, right? I mean, I'm looking at the side here with all our topics listed, and it's kind of a theme all around. So if you haven't heard, and depending of course where you're hearing things from, there was a false claim of a Salvadorian migrant, illegal alien, mistakenly deported, which has been loudly, clearly, emphatically debunked by the Trump administration. And I know that there are people who go, oh, well, the Trump administration debunked it. No, don't believe it. I mean, we don't care what you believe or not. There is truth, and then there's your feelings. This is the truth, right? And we can have it right from, what's his name? Stephen Miller's mouth right here.
Deportation order that was valid which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13.
So now at the beginning of that, President Trump was very President Trump and calling out CNN and basically, I forget exactly what he said, but the nutshell of it is, you're a bunch of big fat liars and you make stuff up, but here's the truth for you. And and there was a lot more to that, actually. If you need to see the whole clip, you can find it very easily. And he, really spelled out the whole progression of what happened, right?
Yeah, and we talked about this very briefly last week, but I mean, that was a great, very, very clear explanation. And what was a little bit hard at the beginning to understand is that guy has had a deportation order since 2019, right? This is not like something that just happened 3 months ago or just since President Trump was elected. That order has been in place through the entire Biden administration until now. So it finally got enforced. And was he here on a green card? Yes, or a visa. Yes, he was here for at least a portion of the time, but he's been on since 2019. He has been on that deportation order, which invalidates any visa or any green card that he had at the time. So he's been here illegally for 6 years, and now it's time to go. And he's gone. And, this district court, and again, this is a trend that's going on, is these guys, they pretend they're playing checks and balances as the judiciary, which they're not. And stepping in and saying, oh no, we got to bring this guy back. We have to bring him back to run him through the judicial system here. No, absolutely not.
Right. And, so the part that really yanks my chain is when I go against my rules and I look in the comments section. So I posted this video along with my own little commentary on my social media platforms. And as expected, there were people, illegal alien sympathizers jumping in the comments. Well, you're completely wrong. And that's not true at all. And, the Trump administration is lying and that whole thing is a lie. So here's the thing. The president of El Salvador was sitting there confirming all of this. You're going to tell me he's wrong? Like, better, you sitting on your couch with your Cheetos. I mean, I don't know what you're doing really, but come on now. Let's just stop being stupid. If you want a MS-13, these are rapist murderers. They are truly evil, bad people. If you want them to stay here so bad, have them stay at your house. Not going to be my problem. Come on now.
I mean, designated as a terrorist organization, right? Because of the violent criminal activity, that's involved in what they do. And this guy was clearly a part of it. And, you're right. There are people that will say that this is wrong and this is this and this is that.
Yep.
My bigger question on top of all of this is this, lower level judge, when you're overturned by the Supreme Court 9-0, not a single one of those judges dissented, not one. When you're overturned 9-0, there's a problem with that judge, right? That there should be some sort of judicial review process for that individual that says you're clearly misinterpreting the law. When the entire Supreme Court of the United States looks at you and says, it's not a 6-3, it's not even a 7-2 or even an 8-1, a 9-0, that judge is a problem. And there should be some review process for this, because clearly he or she, and I'm fairly confident it's a he, is not interpreting the law the way, we would all expect a judge to do.
Right. Yeah. And by the way, Stephen Miller said that the DOJ saboteur, as he called him, that is essentially leaked this false information to the media. He's a Democrat-aligned DOJ lawyer. He is now fired. He is gone. He's done. Yeah. So they got rid of him. And that's what needs to happen. And I want to see if there's a criminal act, obviously, if there was something criminal, but I'm tired of them just getting, a little bit of a spank and sent on their way. I'm really done with that. And I think everybody is really done with that. We're really ready to see some more consequence to the actions of these people, and that goes high up on that chain as well as low down. Talking about these judges, enough already. Like, enough. We're done with the BS. It's time to have some serious accountability here on these things.
Well, and Pam Bondi said it a couple of weeks ago. Listen, if you're an attorney general and you are not fully in support of the government of the United States, or you work for the Department of Justice, the Attorney General's office, you're going to get fired. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And for those of you that aren't tracking, this goes beyond just DOJ and Secretary of State and those kinds of things. So the commander of the U.S. base in Greenland, female colonel from the Space Force.
Yes.
So she refused to, in every, military unit in the country and around the world, U.S. military unit, it has a board on the wall that has the chain of command. Starts with the president, goes to the SecDef, goes to the service secretary, goes to the, the chief of staff of that service, probably has a chairman on there, and then all the way down to whatever local level you've got. The commander refused to put the president on the chain of command board, refused to put the Secretary of Defense on the chain of command board, their photos.
Wow.
And then in the wake of Vice President Vance's visit to Greenland, she was sending out emails to local partners, to people, I think, within the NATO chain of command, and specifically, local politicians or national level politicians in Greenland, saying, don't worry about anything that he says, basically usurping everything about it. They fired her. She has been relieved of command, which is good. And that's the way that it should be. One, military officer should be apolitical. Apolitical, 100%, because you have a chain of command that changes every few years.
Right.
So you remain apolitical purposefully. But two, that's treason. Oh, by the way, when you're insubordinate to the president of the United States and the vice president of the United States and the Secretary of Defense, you cannot expect anybody who serves under you to not also be insubordinate to you. Like, there's no way that you can enforce that level of discipline. So they fired her appropriately. So these kinds of things are spanning beyond just, the civilian side of the military, or the civilian side of the government. Right. So, like you said, that whoever that saboteur, I love that word.
I love that word too.
Whoever that was got fired appropriately. So, but you're starting to see those things around the, across all facets of the government, which is a good thing.
Yes, it is. What, just out of curiosity, like randomly, what happens when somebody's relieved of their duties like that? Can they, if you're on your job, I guess you can kind of contest it. Does that ever happen, or they just kind of generally, is there a recourse for them?
Yeah, there's a series of review boards. So usually what happens is there's a suspension, there's an investigation, and then there's, a relief for cause. And then your evaluation basically says you have been relieved for whatever reason they determine it is through the investigation. But at that point, especially at a senior level, they will actually go through a review of your conduct of service. So like, if they think it's severe enough, like her conduct was severe enough, they could go back and actually, prosecute her under Uniform Code of Military Justice, reduce her in rank potentially. There's a lot of recourse that could happen in there for her. Probably what will happen is she was fired. She will get, retired immediatally and be sent away, and she'll be done. Her career is over with, one way or the other.
Sure. Right.
But she may just, be packing her bags and really on her way home from Greenland, probably stop by Washington, D.C. to sign out and then go into her civilian life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it is great across the board to see the consequences to the actions. I mean, you're seeing it with, everything from college universities that are refusing to, change their DEI policies and all of those things. You're seeing the consequences, funding being withheld, and these judges and military leaders that are not toeing the line and doing their damn job.
There's another one. There's another one. I'm guilty of looking at my phone too. Top advisor to Secretary Hegseth, Dan Caldwell, placed on administrative leave by Department of Defense for unauthorized disclosure of information amid an investigation into Pentagon leaks.
Oh,
so again, same thing. So he leaked information, and I don't know exactly what it is. Looks like he, he let some people know some things they weren't supposed to know, and now he's been put on administrative leave, and he will probably be, national security information, blah blah blah. So listen, they're holding folks accountable pretty quick,
Yes. And with this administration in particular, because there are so many bad actors who try and sneak their way in or have already snuck their way in, that they have to be rooted out, essentially immediately, because they are that our word that we like again, so many saboteurs that want this administration to fail. And what a disgrace that at the sake of your country. It's just mind-blowing to me and disgusting.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see them all locked up for it. It's treason, it's traitorous, it's disgusting and unacceptable.
And so we've got, unfortunately, on both sides of the aisle, shifting to a new topic, we've got some political violence going on.
Yes.
And again, you and I have talked about this multiple times. There's no excuse for this in any way, shape, or form. Whether you look at the Tesla stuff with Musk, no matter what it is, there's an uptick in political violence, and we had a bit of it the other night in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
For those of you that haven't seen this, the man arrested, his name is Cody Balmer. He's 38 years old from Harrisburg, PA, but he jumped the fence to the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania, made some homemade incendiary devices. And while Governor Shapiro and his family were in the residence, he lit the place on fire. And there is some serious damage to the dining room. There's a piano. Like there is the section of the house. Thankfully, the Harrisburg Fire Department was spot on, and they had it together. They saved the rest of the mansion, but millions of dollars of damage. And they arrested this guy. They don't, quote unquote, they don't know his motivation. But listen, you jump.
Yeah, his motivation was, he said, "I hate the guy," and
Now, the fear, though, is Governor Shapiro is Jewish, and it was the first night of a holiday.
Right.
So it could be a hate crime in that sense. They think it's more politically motivated, but it could be either or it could be both.
Right.
But regardless, folks, we've been talking about this for months now. This kind of stuff, the rhetoric from all of our leadership's got to stop.
Yeah.
Because that's what motivates this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And, again, disgraceful to me, and such a sad reflection of the times and the world that we're in. The assassination attempt of President Trump, well, he wasn't president yet, but at that time, two attempts, that should have been. And shame on that Biden administration, because they had the power at that time to set the tone. And of course, they've already, Pandora's box, we all know Pandora's box has been opened. It is wide open. We talk about this often on the podcast because it is such a prevalent issue. The mental health, decline of mental health in people that is fueled by media, by the politicians, all of these things, and that are leading these people to believe that it's okay to do these things, because they kind of believe they have this free reign to go buck wild, because that's what they've been doing for so long now. But still, really, shame on them, shame on the media. And that's such a weak term. I mean, it's more than shame on there. It's so bad. It's criminal what they're doing, and they're inciting in people. And
listen, folks, this is most likely, if it's not a crime related to Governor Shapiro being Jewish, then this is a political crime, conservative against, a liberal. He's a Democratic governor. So it is a politically motivated crime.
Right.
This is not Elsa and I bashing. This is, one side. This is a conservative, right? Yeah. This is wrong. I don't care what color it is, red or blue. I don't care if you're an elephant or a donkey. It's wrong. Right. But it's the narratives that are out there. And there was a young man too, name not released, I don't think, because he's 17, who, I don't know if you saw this, killed his parents.
Yes.
As part of a potential assassin. And I don't know how it's all interwoven, but a potential assassination plot against President Trump.
Yeah.
So, listen, people don't, some people do come up with these ideas just out of some craziness, but everything that's out there, whether it's by political leadership or whether it's by the media, this stuff's got to stop. I mean, just the narratives, all of the rhetoric has just got to come to an end.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so orchestrated. The phrasing, the terms that they use, and some people with much more ability and time on their hands than than we have made these compilations of these videos of these leaders and media personalities repeating the same mantras over and over again, which is fight, we don't let them rest, don't back down, we have to fight, and it's this
Disrupt their dinner.
yeah, interrupt their dinners, stop them in the street, all of these things. And they are literally calling for violence. It's their dog whistle for mentally ill people who perk right up at that and think they're being spoken directly to, like, oh, you want me to go do that? Okay. And there they go. And there's a lot more that's such a bland way of really saying what's going on. We know that actually runs a lot deeper than that. We've, loosely talked about the CIA and some of the things they've done with the past assassination attempts. And it's a ugly, scary underbelly for sure. And we're all suffering for it. Like, we're all paying the price of that, and this is, of course, just another example. And I'm so glad, Clay, that you pointed that out, because a lot of times, because we are a conservative show, people on the left in particular will make the assumption that we don't hold the right to the same standard to which we'd say BS. We absolutely do. It's unacceptable, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. Resorting to violence is never okay at all.
No, that's not how our process works. And yes, it's become way too commonplace in a number of ways and for a number of reasons, incited by a number of people. And it's all got to stop because, we're probably, we are approaching a tipping point where, it's going to escalate to the point where we can't stop it or won't stop it. And that's, that'll be the downfall of this whole thing. I don't know how far away that is, but we've got to get things under control now before it gets out of hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of things that seem to be out of control, Clay.
Listen, I owe you on this one. I do. So, folks, I fell victim to all the stuff that we're talking about, right? Everything that's in the mainstream media has painted this awful picture about aircraft accidents, in the United States, and how they're out of control, and there's massive numbers, and it just feels that way, right? We had yet another helicopter crash in the Hudson, and et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, man, what is going on with all of this? My girl saved me, right? Elsa posted just yesterday.
Yeah, let me take the banner off of there. There we go.
These are the numbers of aircraft plane accidents by calendar year from the NTSB. We're not making this up. This is the National Transportation Safety Board, right? Look at the number. We are down. I don't know how everybody, you felt the same way too, though, didn't you? Like,
absolutely. Absolutely. It feels like every time you turn around, a plane or a helicopter is crashing, or there's, some critical, scary, dangerous, terrifying incident that happens, and crisis, real crisis is averted. But yeah, I have felt like every time you turn on the news, there is a new accident and something is going on, right? Like, that's what that's the line. They get, something's going on. What is it? No, it's the fact that there are, I don't know there. I wish I did know the number of how many flights collectively there are in a day's time, so you have these like statistical probabilities of what's going to happen. And, no matter what, at the end of the day, it's always that automobile accidents, not that we want to like make anyone scared of anything. I mean, life is just life. Human error is just human error. Weather is just weather. Things can happen because life is life, right? But the perception has been that this has been something that is out of control and something must be done. Like, what? You're going to ground all the flights? We all got to, walk because everything is dangerous? No. Here's some proof that it is no worse, certainly, and it's obviously less bad than it's been. So crazy, right?
Yeah. And so again, don't believe everything you hear. That's a great, right? All the proof's right there. Don't believe what you hear. do your research, do your homework. I fell victim to it. But that picture was definitely painted across all of the media outlets and social media to make you feel like there's been this massive uptick in aviation accidents since President Trump took over, truthfully.
Right.
And really, there's been a fairly significant downturn, which is good to know. But yeah,
and
so folks, statistically, it's still much more dangerous to drive a car than it is to get in an airplane.
Right. And that's not to downplay the incidents and the loss of life. I mean, really, really tragic, crazy accidents. The Hudson River helicopter crash, that one to me, watching that video was so shocking in that, like, it fell apart like a toy, right? Like the tail fell off, the back end fell off, the rotor came flying off. Like it just broke apart like a child's toy. And that to me was so horrifying to even imagine.
Yeah. Having spent hundreds of hours riding around in helicopters, and not a pilot at all. I'm just spent a lot of time being a passenger, and having a lot of good friends who are pilots. They're a freak of nature. Like you can show me all the physics and all the math and everything else. And they're amazing. I love riding in them, but the thing about a helicopter is, while it's in the air, if something goes wrong with those two moving rotors, the top and then the tail, if something goes wrong with one of those two, the potential for a rotor to hit another part of the aircraft is fairly significant. So that's when you start having things like what you said, which is, when it strikes the tail of the aircraft and then the aircraft breaks apart, like those kinds of things. It's not like a jet, airliner where an engine is enclosed and, maybe it's on fire, but generally, you don't have parts flying out kind of thing. So, but anyway, it's better than it seems, folks. Don't be swayed by the media. It is better than it seems, for sure.
Let me tell you. Yeah. And, of course, it did. I don't want to say it freaked me out, because it feels kind of absurd to freak out over anything really at this point. Right. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely admit, getting ready to fly out tomorrow, and I travel every month to go see the grandkids, and yes, the more you travel, the more the odds start to stack against you, so yeah, it does get in your head a bit. But then the flip side of it is, you have to live, you have to do the things that you do, and you can't function in fear of everything. You can acknowledge it, that it's there, and that it's real, but don't let it stop you. And I think really, like, the biggest lesson really is the one you said, Clay. Like, don't believe everything. You question everything. Do your own research, and that includes when you listen to us. Don't take everything we have to say as the letter of the law. Go look it up, question it, doubt it, and then come back and tell us that we were right. Make sure you do that. Okay. But yeah, you have to. And now, with Clay and I talked it off air a little bit, and I think we mentioned it even last week, talked a little bit about AI chat GPT, especially in particular. That's kind of the one I go to for stuff. But, learn how to use it, learn how to input prompts and questions and get the answers. It can find them in mere seconds. You can get the answers to your questions. And, and a little segue, you can also do really fun things with chat GPT, like this. I mean, come on, how cute is that? And yes, you guys are going to ask, I know in the comments, you're going to say, why is there a dog there? You guys don't have a dog on this show. It's because I think my chat GPT got so sick and tired of me repeatedly asking it for refinements. Like, number one, I wanted that sucker to make my face a little thinner. I mean, rude, but it got tired of me, and it put this dog in. So now we have a dog mascot. I don't know. So yes, so you can actually, you can use it for really useful things, or you can just have some fun with it. I can promise you, I use it for incredibly useful things. I have 1,000,001 questions a day that I must have the answer to. And so, if I ever showed you a screenshot of my, I actually have a folder, a prompt folder called random questions. and I ask ChatGPT a million random questions a day, and I need it all explained. I tell it to bullet point the answer for me, so just in case one person ever asks me, I will have all of this information. So yes, long-winded way of saying, don't believe everything you read, or hear or read or see. Find out for yourself, right?
But is it safe to travel 11 minutes into space and back?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I have so many feelings about this, Clay. So many feelings. So, I mean, first, right off the bat, I know I have the picture. Here we go. We got the picture. Here is the crew of Blue Origin, the all-female crew of Blue Origin. Gail King, what's her name? Lauren Sanchez.
Yep.
Katy Perry. And I don't know who everybody else is. The two people, or who is that other person? I know two people on there are the actual rock stars of this whole thing.
Who actually flew, operated the space.
Yes. Yeah. The actual people with the actual qualifications, which are really, really impressive. I'll find them and I'll tell you what they are. But the whole thing is okay. Again, mixed feelings on this. So some cool things about it. It is the first of its kind since Valentina Tereshkova's, I think I just got that right, Tereshkova's solo mission in 1963. For that alone, very exciting, very cool in its right. Let's see what else. So the crew members, let me just talk about the crew members. Aisha Bowe, she's a Bahamian American aerospace engineer and former NASA rocket scientist.
She's awesome.
I mean, come on. She's the founder and CEO of STEM Board. It's a tech company focused on STEM education. She's received multiple awards for her contributions to aerospace engineering and her advocacy for underrepresented communities in STEM. So, hello, Amanda Gwen? No?
Yeah, Win or Nguyen, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's a civil rights activist, Nobel Peace Prize nominee, founder of RISE, a nonprofit organization that advocates for the rights of sexual assault survivors. She has passed, or she was a significant part in the passage of a Sexual Assault Survivors Right Act. These are very accomplished, amazing, fascinating women who, in my opinion, should have really been put front of stage for this, that would have been nice. Now, the flip side, and I think I'm going to take a spin that maybe you wouldn't expect, or maybe people watching wouldn't expect. I at first was rolling my eyes in contempt, in annoyance about the celebrity factor, in particular Katy Perry. And really just like, come on, we're going to glam this all up and make this some, kind of silly thing that you're doing. And then I paused and I gave it some more thought, and I was like, you know what? The reality in this world is that young girls are not watching women like Aisha Bowe on television and buying her books and doing that. They are watching people like Katy Perry, and they are admiring them and looking up to them. And I don't know so much about Gail King and Lauren Sanchez, but they have celebrity. Young people, young girls like celebrity. So if they're going into space and doing this whole thing, gets a young girl to say, you know what, I would like to go into space. Let me find out how I could take the steps to be able to do that. Well, STEM, that's how. And so if it serves a greater purpose, I can reserve my annoyance by the theatrics and the showiness. And we talked before about Katy Perry. What did she do again? She did something obnoxious.
Oh, you said something about her with like a daisy or something.
Like a daisy holding it up to the
11 minutes of suborbital flight.
Yeah.
She came out and she kissed Mother Earth, when she got back on the ground. Listen, I'm for all of those folks out there, the thing that irritates me is that with all of the, attention that this thing has gotten, what was lost in the media was an amazing accomplishment by an amazing young woman. This past weekend was something called the Best Ranger competition, held down at Fort Benning, Georgia. I think this is like the 41st or 42nd year they've been doing this. And for those that aren't familiar, this is a competition for two-person teams that goes for about 72 hours, and it is absolutely grueling. This is like ultimate race, like super ultra marathon kind of stuff over 3 days. It is obstacle courses. It's jumping out of planes. It's swimming. It's running. It's carrying a heavy pack. It's, navigating at night. It's shooting. It's all of these amazing things, and it's nonstop. Very few breaks over 72 hours. Okay. 52 two-person teams started this. 52. Wow. When Sunday morning rolled around, between teams that had quit or teams that had fallen so far out of competition, they cut it down to 16. Okay. And 16
from 52. Wow.
Out of 52, 16 teams made it through Sunday morning. It's kind of like golf, right? But 16 teams finished.
Yeah.
The 14th place, and listen, finishing alone is an incredible achievement. The 14th place team had the very first female competitor to ever compete, and she finished. And her name is Lieutenant Gabrielle White. She's stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. And that right there, the fact that she finished, not that she even started or competed, is amazing. Her level of physical fitness, she could take, and everybody's talking about Hegseth and SecDef and doing PT with units. She would drag him through the mud. Like he couldn't keep up with her if he tried.
That's
right.
Awesome.
So that right there, that's the story that should be in the news. Truthfully.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. If you want a great accomplishment by a great female, that's the one. Gabrielle White, Best Ranger Competition, 2025, Fort Benning, Georgia. Look it up. She is an amazing human being. My hat's off to her.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah. And if everybody's like me, I know plenty of you been out there and you did that Warrior Dash, or I think there's a whole bunch of other ones. That's the one I did many years. Yeah. All of those things. Take that, put it on steroids, multiply it by 1,000, and maybe, so comparing those things is crazy. Crazy. Yeah. There, again, super cool for them. What a wonderful experience that they got to have. Happy for them. Happy that they, oh my goodness, you weren't kidding.
Because they paid
Yeah. I mean, happy that that something like this, was even done. Very cool and all that. Just, I don't know. Certain aspects, I just kind of wish they were different. But if we were in a different world, maybe they would be different, and the focus would have been put otherwise. But because we are a superficial society, myself included, by the way, I'm not knocking anybody. I mean, I don't come on this show or make my videos without, without my hair done and some makeup on and all those things. So I totally get, because I know there was a lot of criticism over the very tailored styled space suits to make sure everybody in the glam picture there. We saw the glam picture. We'll look at it again. Everybody's got full makeup, airbrush, form-fitting suits, posed perfectly, all that stuff. But again, the flip side of that is, well, what do you want them to do? Everybody just sit back, and kind of like slouch back in the baggy, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, we're going to find...
Evidently, you can take it too far. And what you can do is you can piss off Megyn Kelly, and she can turn all girls on Kristi Noem.
Yeah, my girl Meg, our girl Meg, you love her too, right?
Yeah,
I am a fan. I am a huge fan, and I actually, it kind of like it made me like break out in a little bit of a sweat to criticize her, really, but it really didn't sit right. So we do have it. So here's what she said:
ICE agent, and she, of course, is doing it with like 25 pounds of hair, only to be outdone by her 30 pounds of makeup and false eyelashes. There's no false eyelashes on an ICE raid. Stop trying to glamorize the mission and put yourself in the middle of it as you cosplay ICE agent, which you're not. I can't stand these photo ops, you guys. I think they diminish ICE. They diminish DHS, CPB. She's not an agent. She is an administrative policy person appointed by Trump because she was very loyal to him. Fine. But stop with the glam. I mean, she looks like I look right now, but she's out in the field with her gun being like, we're going to go kick some ass. No one wants you there.
So, I mean, so in the full clip, Megyn acknowledged, agreed, and seem to believe that Kristi Noem is doing a great job at her job. What she took offense to, was the glam, the full makeup, the hair, the this, the that, the all of the things. And that was the part that and apparently a lot of other people were like, hang on, hold up. Is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing? We're going after each other's looks now? Like, come on. Why do you care if she's in full makeup? Why do you care if she's got extensions, if she's got lashes on, all of those things? I am personally against attacking other women for their appearances. And I know somebody going to jump in and say, hang on, you make fun of Kamala Harris all the time. That was like part of your big shtick for as long as she was in office. I made fun of her job performance. I didn't make fun of her laugh. I made fun of the fact that she laughed inappropriately at things. Just because I can copy the way that she laughs, I don't know what you want from me. Apparently I laugh like that anyhow, according to other people. So, it's the whole, it didn't make sense, right, Clay? It's so you're okay with her, your job performance, check, you're doing great. But I'm going to go after you because I don't like the way you look, is kind of what it came down to. She's mad about the photo ops. How do you feel about it?
It was very, I said this before and you kind of laughed at me. It was very, on Wednesday, we wear pink.
Oh, it's okay. Coolness. So we'll see you tomorrow. On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
It was very Mean Girls.
I love that you said that.
Yeah. I have a couple daughters. Yeah. It's like that's, I get that. But, the reality is some of the things that Megyn said were true. Okay.
Right.
You can, and as somebody who's been both a commander and at that level of execution, a boss at the wrong place at the wrong time can be very disruptive to an operation. Okay. Anytime she shows up, that there is a level of distraction that comes with it because she is the boss, right?
Mm-hmm.
The photo op is there, those kinds of things can be disruptive, but I'm willing to bet that whatever she did, whenever that was taken, whenever that was filmed, it was either well before or well after an operation was complete. Like she was not standing outside of a house that they were about to kick the door in and filming that thing. That's not how that happened. I know a lot of people went after Kristi Noem because she was standing there, kind of a port arms kind of a thing. And, people are like, oh, well, she's pointing the barrel at the guy next to her, blah, 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 blah. Listen, anybody who's been in the military and stood in formation with weapons, we do that stuff all the time, right? If the chamber's clear and we do all the normal safety stuff, it is what it is. But so people are going to find reasons to pick at her. Here's reality. She's there. Like she's actually there. She's on the scene. Is she providing tactical oversight? No. But her being there makes it important. It makes it important to the agents. It makes them feel supported, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we're about, we just ran an operation or we're about to run an operation and the boss is here. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And sure, is there a level of like, man, I wish, if some agent if this is like the fourth time that some guy or gal has been on an operation and like, oh, Kristi Noem's here again. They're like, oh my God, would she just go back to the office? But for most folks, it's a good thing. Commanders have a responsibility to advocate for their organization, which is exactly what she's doing. She's advocating for all of those agents. She is standing up there and talking about what a great job they're doing, how dangerous it is, and what they're doing on behalf of the nation. So Megyn Kelly, being the mean girl that she can be, and this is clearly a case, and again, I'm normally a fan, she's wrong on this. She to go after, Kristi Noem for her looks is bad enough, but to not understand what Kristi Noem's role is in all of this and how she's doing that, for somebody who's been in the media as long as Megyn Kelly has been, she really, really blew the analysis on this because she should know that that's what an administrator at that level does. You advocate for your organization, and that's what she's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and by all accounts that I have ever heard about Kristi Noem, that she is an incredibly hard worker, full all in everything that she does. She is hands-on. There are comments in the video I posted about this whole thing with my own little commentary on it. There are numerous comments in there of people from her state saying, listen, Kristi Noem is the real deal. That girl She knows how to handle a gun, no problem. She's a rancher. Was she a rancher? I think she's a rancher.
Yeah, horse. On horseback, all that stuff.
Yes. Yep. So she is in many ways in her element. She is doing exactly what she's always done. This isn't new. She's not just trying to get some screen time. But yes, I mean, absolutely. If you look at it, with a different lens, these photo ops as they are, I mean, they are photo ops, and that's okay, because we as the public actually need to see. We want to see that you're out there, that things are happening. This is a way to do it. Are you glossing it up and making it look really, really good? Yes. And I'm fine with that. Kristi Noem is a beautiful woman, and she's an absolute badass. And legitimately, she earned that title. It's not just because she's standing in a picture, holding a gun and, hanging out with ICE and with Border Patrol and doing those things. Yeah. It's because she's a legitimate badass in her own right. I will always have that twinge, that twitch when I think about her book with the whole dog thing. I know people have held that against her from that moment on. Never really going to be fully okay with that. It's a different life, a different world, one that I certainly don't understand. That is what it is. But if we're playing fair the way we should be, the only question should be, is she doing her job well? And if the answer is yes, nothing else matters. She can wear all the makeup she wants or none of the makeup. I don't care. Same thing we could say about Trump. I don't care if he doesn't have the most charming personality or say things in the right way. Is he doing his job? Yes. Don't care.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, if you haven't seen the Bill Maher do his wrap up of his visit to the White House, he talked how the person that we see in public, and you and I have said this multiple times, the person we see in public out of President Trump is not the person that he had dinner with. Right. And we all know that a lot of it is an act. We all know that it is purposeful in what he does and what he says. This
Absolutely.
is very much the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And we just had another example of it, 60 Minutes on Sunday night, right?
Yeah.
60 Minutes stuck a microphone in front of Zelensky,
right?
And they had him on for a good, it was probably a good 10-minute interview.
Yeah.
And so it was unopposed, it was uncontested, and it allowed him, in his combat t-shirt, right? Yeah. Another image guy, right?
Yes. Yeah. Why aren't we going after him for that?
Well, I'm pretty sure Megyn Kelly, she probably has gone after him, but he same thing, right? He's there and he's getting interviewed by 60 Minutes, and it was his opportunity to change, or at least be uninterrupted in his messaging for the narrative on behalf of, his effort within the Ukraine. He did put some doubt in there on whether or not the U.S., does support him and will continue to support Ukraine. He said, I think the people of the United States support Ukraine. I'm not sure about the president, or I'm not sure about the administration. He did say that, the chances of the Ukraine winning the war against Russia without the United States support is pretty much gone. But there are some idiosyncrasies into what he said that are definitely messaging on behalf of Ukraine. And so we've talked about, that Putin wants a buffer, right? He wants a buffer between Russia and NATO. That's the whole reason this stuff is going on. The way Zelensky played that was, Putin attacked into Ukraine so that he could push the border of Russia right up on NATO's doorstep. Right. Again, it's very different perspective on the same problem. It's not, he's not trying to, you could argue he's not trying to make Ukraine part of Russia. He's trying to put Ukraine under the control of Russia just as a buffer. But again, Zelensky plays it as, he's trying to expand Russia right up to NATO's doorstep. So, and 60 Minutes being, CBS product, they played into everything, and made President Trump and Vice President Vance, they played clips from the White House visit and those sorts of things. And so, Zelensky made comments about, you can't trust Putin. Remember, we've had all these conditional ceasefires and blah, 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 and Putin hasn't abided by any of them. Well, there's only been one, and it was on energy infrastructure. And other than the strike that happened within hours, I don't think there's been any more strikes on energy infrastructure. So don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But again, this was all about Zelensky having a microphone in his face and being able to say whatever he wanted to a media outlet that was going to do nothing but, kiss his ass.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No question about it. And no surprise based on, everything we've seen from the media. I feel like we could just do like a month-long episode of nonstop talking about all of the things that the media does to manipulate people. It's just so crazy. And of course, Trump responded to it, basically accused CBS of spreading fake news and threatening to revoke its license, which really sent everyone into a tizzy, of course.
Yeah. What's her name that's on 60 Minutes is guilty. She should have had her license revoked anyway. They're as guilty as anybody, that network specifically. So yeah, no big surprise there. I'm waiting though. We've got our President Trump just had his physical, and I'm waiting for the media spin on this. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, there's like nothing to say about it, really. I mean, they would have to make something up. I mean, not that they would ever make anything up because they're so honest. They would never. Very clean, better than clean bill of health. He talked about it himself. Looking great, by the way. I think he looks great right now. He's looks like he lost a little bit of weight. Am I making things up? Do you think he looked like he lost a little weight?
Yeah, I think he does, but I think that's part of the job. As you job agent,
it's nonstop.
Everybody gets aged in that job. For him, I think it's weight loss will be part of the the stress and the pace of the job. We all know he doesn't sleep anyway, but I think there's probably more physical activity than he's used to. I think there's probably, probably a better diet. Truthfully.
And his McDonald's, come on.
Yeah.
Let the man have his McDonald's. Isn't Bobby Kennedy going to clean that all up? Get rid of the seed oils and give everybody back their beef tallow so our fries are delicious again.
But, what I'm waiting for, truthfully, is the media with the absolute massive hypocrisy,
right?
The Democrats with the massive hypocrisy to go, well, they also said Biden was in perfect health too.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I bet you're right. That if they were going to take an angle on this, that would be the one. Oh, you accuse us of saying, we lied about Biden, but how do we know that you're not lying? Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, because our president is out there every single day in front of cameras, traveling from state to state, golfing the next day, sleeping 3 hours, jumping on a plane. Yep. Like the man never stops, and he does it all in the public eye, right?
He's a machine.
Every single bit.
Yeah.
So one thing that there is a lot of speculation over, and I don't think Steve Bannon helped at all with that, is that he's going to try and run for a third term. Like this, some people are buzzing like this is setting the stage for him for a possible potential candidacy run, and all that is. I mean, I didn't want to give it any attention, but here we are. I'm giving it attention because people are talking about it. It's a thing that people are saying. Prominent people are saying things like this, suggesting it and everything. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think President Trump has already used it to spin people, like as he always does. Like, here's a distraction over here.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't pay attention to what I'm doing over here.
Right.
Look at this. So even he said it. This was probably a month ago. Somebody asked him a question. Why in my head, it's like they asked him on Air Force One. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those. And he said, well, what it says is you can't be elected to a third term. And he just kind of left it open like that.
So just gave him something to foam at the mouth over, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So the speculation became that Vance runs for president. He gets elected. He's got Trump as vice president, and he immediately steps down. He wasn't elected president. He was,
my goodness.
Right. And so people started spinning that, and then I even heard that Vance would run again 4 years later with Trump as his vice president again. And then
can that even happen? Can a former president who served as much time as he can as a president, can they be a vice president?
There's nothing in the the Constitution or any legal documents that says no. Nothing.
That's actually fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So those are the loopholes that people are grasping onto, and President Trump is just letting them do it. He's enjoying it. He's laughing his ass off.
As he always does, right? As he always does.
100%.
And like it is literally, and it is absolutely true that he does that. He drops a little something here, and all the pigeons go running to peck at it. and then he's like, okay, now we can go do what we're planning on doing here and get back to work. But oh my goodness, dude, did we hit every single one? Did we get them all?
We got one more. We got one more.
We do? What did we miss?
So yesterday, Monday, Sunday, great finish to the Masters.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
And for those of you that don't follow golf, it went to 18, went to 72 holes, and then it went to a 1-hole playoff, and Rory McIlroy won the Masters, completing a career Grand Slam. There haven't been a whole lot of folks who have done that, but he did that. And so he's taken a lot of flack because he was paired he was paired with a guy in second place who is what's his name? DeChambeau, who I call Rochambeau. Anyway, so it was very much if you're a Happy Gilmore fan, like DeChambeau is very much a Happy Gilmore, and Rory McIlroy is very much a Shooter McGavin kind of personality. And by all accounts, Rory McIlroy did not speak a single word to DeChambeau all day long. Through 18 holes, not a single word. And golf is although people are very focused, it is a very social sport. And guys are generally very cordial to each other, even to the point where they give each other a hard time. But McIlroy said nothing. All day long.
Okay, so I have to be honest with you, Clay. I absolutely had zero interest in this topic until you started saying all of that. I'm like, oh, now I must investigate.
So he won the playoff, and then when the green jacket was put on him, there was maybe some maybe there weren't some handshakes that were given the way they were supposed. There's a lot of girl drama kind of stuff. That's
disappointing.
Kind of drama going on at the Masters.
Come on, boys.
But it was a great tournament. It was fun to watch.
That's good.
And the other very side note to this is it probably marked what is the end of Tiger Woods' playing career. He is, I think he underwent surgery. He is unable to walk right now.
Wow.
Did not attend the former champions dinner on Wednesday night, which all the former winners show up. They all wear their green jackets. They all eat dinner together. And he was not there, and he also did not attend the tournament at all.
Okay. I was just going to ask you, wait, did he play at all? He did not play at all.
Didn't even show up. Wasn't even there. So a lot of folks are speculating that it is the end of his playing career.
But I don't think it's the end of him being in the spotlight now.
Oh, never.
Never dating a Trump, right? Or a former Trump. No, she's
former
not really,
Trump.
I mean,
yes, former Trump.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I think he does love to play with his son Charlie. And if you've ever seen the two of them play, it's a lot of fun. So Tiger's not going away, but I think his professional playing days are officially at this point over with. That's the speculation.
Wow, look at that! We closed on a. I mean, I know closing on Tiger Woods retiring or whatever is necessarily a good thing, but it's a nice, peaceful ending to the show, right? This was technically something of a peaceful show, right? Like we had a lot of levity here today.
I will let me one more thing about the Masters, and you will like this.
Go for it.
They do not allow any spectator, none, zero. You are not allowed to have your phone on the course.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
You cannot, there's no selfies, there's no filming, there's no nothing. You are supposed to go and watch golf and talk to people. Augusta says no phones, period.
Wow.
So when you see the galleries and all the crowd, no phones. It's like a throwback in time.
Actually watching.
But it's really cool. Yeah.
That is actually pretty neat because, we've all seen the pictures and the videos all the time of, people at concerts or any event, and all you see is cell phones up
everywhere.
And people aren't just taking it in, like they're taking it in so that they can post it for other people to see.
Yep.
And that is the thing. So that's actually really cool that they do that. I think it's a great idea. Be cool if more sporting or more events in general could do it. Although I think it's like probably next to impossible generally. Right. Yep. But what do you think? We did it. We got them all.
We hit them all. That was probably a record. Well, I think that might have been 8. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely. And we even like kind of had some little offshoots there. We kind of
Yeah.
bounced around a little bit. Yay us. Well, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this as much as we did. This was a really fun show. And tell us how much you loved our little action figures. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And you know what? Here's a better idea. If you can, I don't know if you can, in the comments section, if you are so inclined, go ahead and post yours in the comments, because I know some of you are going to go and do it, right?
For
There's
sure.
other people. Somebody commented, I posted one I did of just myself on my page, and some meanie commented with one of those marked safe things, and it was marked safe for making a action figure of myself. I was like, ha ha ha, you're so funny. It's all good. I don't care. Can't hurt my feelings. Oh, guys, it's been a lot of fun. We look forward to coming back at you next week again with more topics, more fun, more stuff and things. Listen, if you've got suggestions, ideas, things you want us to talk about, throw them in the comment section too. We would love to. We would love to. Right?
Messages in the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us your thoughts. Throw some input at us, and that'll be really fun. So that's all I got. Clay, you send them off into the.
Hey, folks, I don't know if everybody saw, but I made a big announcement on Saturday. For those of you that are fans of my first novel, Keep Moving, Keep Shooting, I have, 1, transitioned to a new publisher. 2, there will be a second edition of Keep Moving, Keep Shooting with a brand new cover coming out by the end of May. But more importantly, and what I think everybody who is a fan of the books is waiting for, is the sequel. The second book in the Terry Davis series, the sequel to Keep Moving, Keep Shooting, will be out this 4th of July. And the title of the book is Cross to Bear. So for those of you fans, if you love a good action fiction novel, check it out. But that's the big announcement. 4th of July, Cross to Bear, Keep Moving, Keep Shooting sequel, second in the Terry Davis series, coming out this summer. So very, very excited about that. And with that, as I always tell you, keep moving, keep shooting.
Outstanding. Everyone wish Clay congratulations in the comments section. Please. Congratulations, Clay. That is awesome. I am so excited for the series to come out, and I'm so excited to share it with everybody on here. We'll designate a good chunk of time when they're all out just to sit and talk about the books, because that's one of my absolute favorite things to do. I love book talk. So everybody can look forward to that, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.
Warrior, leader, author, patriot. From ranger school to the battlefield, from the front lines of combat to the front lines of culture, retired Lieutenant Colonel Clay Novak isn't done fighting for truth. Catch him on the Elsa Kurt Show and read his no-holds-barred blog at claynovakauthor.com. Keep moving, keep shooting.
If you've ever looked around and thought, this isn't normal and it sure isn't biblical, you're not alone. And guess what? You're not crazy, you're discerning. That's why I wrote Truth Bombs and Grace Grenades, a bold, unapologetic book for believers who are done being silent while the world screams lies. From gender confusion to political idolatry, from woke theology to spiritual apathy, we're hitting it all straight on, straight up, and backed by scripture. This isn't a rage-fueled rant, it's a rally cry, a wake-up call to stop apologizing and start boldly living out the gospel. Whether you're a new believer or a disillusioned disciple trying to find your footing again, this book is for you. It's packed with truth bombs, grace-filled strategies, and practical tools to help you speak truth with love, raise warriors, not worriers, dismantle lies with biblical clarity, and rebuild with grit, grace, and gospel power. The culture doesn't need more compromise. It needs courageous Christians. So if you're ready to push back against the chaos with bold faith and real truth, grab your copy of Truth Bombs and Grace Grenades on May 6, 2025. Let's shake things up with truth and grace.